All right, hello and welcome to Hanging Out with Bob, podcast hosted by me, Bob Edholm. Thanks for joining us, and let's get started. This will be a special edition of Hanging Out with Bob podcast today because my guest will be someone we've already heard before. He's John Lawrence, my friend from Northeast Minneapolis.
Good morning.
In fact, John was a guest on my third podcast. John and I met 6 or 7 years ago when we were both working at Voya Financial in downtown Minneapolis. We both share a love for Minnesota sports teams, such as the Vikings, the Gophers, the Twins, just to name a few. So, John, welcome back. It's good to have you back on Hanging Out with Bob.
Thank you.
And what makes this podcast episode special is that John and I are going to do what we might call a deep dive on the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome, or just Metrodome, or the Dome for short, that was in downtown Minneapolis. Just some quick background on the Metrodome. It opened in 1982 as a replacement for two venues, Metropolitan Stadium in suburban Bloomington, and which was the former home of the Minnesota Twins and the Minnesota Vikings, and Memorial Stadium. That was the former home of the University of Minnesota's Golden Gophers football team. The Metrodome was the Twins' home from 1982 to 2009, 28 seasons of indoor Major League Baseball. John, why don't you start by telling us about the first time that you saw a Twins game at the Metrodome, and then kind of go from there. Like, how often did you go to Twins games, and your just impressions of the place for baseball?
Well, actually, my memories of the Metrodome started even before that. I was taking care of my grandfather, who was terminally ill at the time, and his hospital room overlooked the construction of the Metrodome. So I watched the progress of the construction.
Yeah.
I was able to attend the very first game ever played at the Metrodome, which was an exhibition game against the Phillies. Watched Pete Rose get the first ever base hit in the Metrodome. And what was remarkable to me was how fast the turf was at the time. I watched Kent Hrbek hit a ground ball between first and second base, and it picked up speed and rolled right between the outfielders all the way to the fence on a ground ball. And I mean, I don't mean a hopper, I mean a ground ball. And I was like, holy cow, what is going on here?
They had a couple versions of turf, too, over the years, didn't they? I mean, that first one especially was like, what I remember is it was very hard.
Yes.
And the ball just really took off.
Right.
It was like a shot. And it bounced, too. It was like a Super Ball sometimes. It was just weird effect.
Right, yeah. Teams hated playing there, especially in the early days with that first turf, because it was not real baseball. It was like baseball instead of a pinball machine.
Yeah. That's a good analogy. So, yeah. And then, did you go to the Dome a lot over the years, or maybe one or two games every year?
Yeah, so probably early years, especially about 2 to 4 games a year. I kind of had a tradition of going to the first series, never the opener, but always the first series. So usually maybe a weeknight, Tuesday or Wednesday or something. Yeah. And, a few, 2, 3, 4 games during the year, each year.
Okay. How would you get to the game? Would you park there, or would you take a bus from where you lived, or how did you get there and back?
I'd say it was about 50-50. There used to be a lot of parking lots back then along like Washington.
Right.
They're kind of over by the depot. Well, the depot had closed as a train station, but hadn't reopened as something else. So there was lots of parking over there, and it was relatively inexpensive. So sometimes I would drive and park over there, or sometimes take the bus because it was very convenient for me as well. So it kind of depended on the situation.
Yep. Two-part question for you. What did you like about seeing games at the Metrodome, and what did you not like about seeing games at the Metrodome?
Well, it wasn't a real ballpark, and I'm a baseball fan more than a football fan. And so it wasn't a real ballpark. I'd grown up watching games at Met Stadium, and it was certainly very different than that. Obviously, weather wasn't a concern, so it was
no rainouts.
Right, exactly, and it was always the same exact conditions. You had a roof that guys would lose pop-ups in the roof, and the Super Bowl turf, bouncing and hard turf. In football, there was a fair number of injuries that happened because of that hard turf. Some really good careers ended on that turf.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Vikings in a little bit, but yeah, it was an artificial setting for a sport that was traditionally meant to be played outdoors, I guess. So
definitely. And then they added the after the first season, they didn't have the baggie in right field. It was a 8-foot fence, and they had the vampire seats behind.
Vampire seats, yes. That's a good description.
The fold-out seats.
Did
for
they fold them out
football.
for football, right?
Yeah, but they were hanging upside down for baseball, and so those were peppered by Herbeck in that first season.
Well, that's amazing thinking about that now, playing baseball there. So,
but really, even adding the baggie even made it feel more artificial because it wasn't a real fence. It was I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
And funny. Plexiglass. They didn't have the plexiglass up the first season either.
Right.
So it was...
Now, the plexiglass, that was up there when Kirby Puckett made that great catch right, in the World
Oh,
Series,
yeah.
because I seem to remember seeing that plexiglass was there. So
yeah, it was up there for his whole career. It was not there in 82, but it was there in 83.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for clarifying. Let's see. Those 28 seasons of indoor baseball, the Twins had 12 winning seasons. With a winning record, including 7 division titles and 2 World Series championships, of course. But 15 seasons that were losing seasons, including that 102 loss in 1982, their first year there. And then they had one season where they finished 500. It was 1984. I had to look it up.
Oh,
but
yeah.
They were 81 and 81.
Yeah, and they were really a much better team than a 500 team that year. They contended all the way up until Ron Davis.
Is that the year Detroit, the Dream Team of 84, when they won the whole thing with Jack Morris and
that's right.
Kirk Gibson and all those guys? Okay.
That's right.
Okay, and after the final season at the Metrodome in 2009, the Twins moved to Target Field in an area known here as the historic warehouse district of downtown Minneapolis, kind of on the other side of downtown.
Now known as the North Loop.
Yes. From 1982 to 2013, the Metrodome was home to the Vikings. 32 seasons of National Football League games played indoors under a Teflon roof. Full disclosure here, John, while I did go to some Viking games at the Metrodome, I think I can count that number without using up all 10 of my fingers.
Right, same here,
actually. Not a lot. And that's because, well, frankly, because most of the games, the home games, were televised locally. Right. I think I looked it up. The last televised blackout for Viking games was in 1997, which happened to be the year before Randy Moss came here. But they were having trouble selling tickets. I can remember that. So sometimes you think, is this game going to be on this week or not? We weren't quite sure. But...
So through the 70s and 80s, definitely local blackouts were a thing in the NFL.
Yes.
I don't think in this century, I don't think it exists anymore. But they had Pete Rozelle had a rule or something that a very high percentage of the tickets had to be sold in order to televise the game locally on television, in hopes that people would buy tickets instead of counting on watching the game on TV.
And I think even before then, when I was a teenager, even if the games were sold out, they still wouldn't show them here, the games.
No kidding.
We used to take, I remember going with my dad, my brother and I would go with my dad and one of my uncles. We'd drive to Menominee, Wisconsin to get the Eau Claire CBS station so we could watch a Viking Packers game at Met Stadium. But because we couldn't see it, we drive to Wisconsin and watch it in the bowling alley bar to see games because it was literally blacked out. You couldn't do it. So okay. Getting back to the Vikings and football at the Dome, did you see many games there yourself?
No. Actually, I was never a big fan of watching NFL games live. The crowd tended to be lubricated.
Oh, yeah.
And after about my second game where I got spilled upon, that was, occasionally I'd take a free ticket from somebody, but I wasn't going to spend my money to get, beer poured on me.
Right, right. And the other thing too is if people have never been to an NFL game or a major college football game, if you're at that game, there is not one moment of silence.
Yes, correct.
I mean, even when they go to TV commercials, there's music just blaring, and I know some people love that, but I think I'm at the point now where I'd rather not have to.
Right. Let me ponder for a minute.
When there's a timeout in the game, I'll get up and do something here in the house and come back, But
for sure,
I understand why it's popular and fun, but I really didn't miss it that much, which is why I didn't go that many times a game. So,
right,
okay.
and going back to the Metrodome, it was ear splitting in that place. The music and the bombardment of noise was pretty incredible.
Yep, and it's the same with U.S. Bank too. I had a brother that went to a Viking game. He noticed it too, and he used to be in a band, but he said, it's so loud because it almost I don't enjoy it as much,
Right.
So, okay, well, then you touched on it briefly, but again, playing football in the Dome, advantages and disadvantages. The weather, you never had to worry about that.
Right.
But like you said, with the lousy turf they had in this, I mean, there were several players that really got hurt. I mean, career-ending injuries sometimes on they, cut on a seam. Mm-hmm. Maybe where they replaced the bases where the dirt was for baseball. They put seams there, or the base coach's first base coach. It raised havoc with
and in the second half, I'd say of the Dome era, they put in a different type of turf, which was a little more forgiving.
Right.
It was a little spongier. It was trying to replicate real grass. Obviously they couldn't, but it got much closer, and so instead of playing on carpet-covered concrete, they were actually playing on a surface.
I used to say it was like playing on a welcome mat on top of a driveway.
Right, exactly.
I mean, it was not very forgiving if you fell hard. Shoulders, knees, it was tough on your whole body. So, okay. About the Vikings now, after their last game at the Metrodome, which was 2013, as you recall, they played 2 seasons at the University of Minnesota's new stadium, TCF Bank, now Huntington Bank Stadium. But they did that for 2 years because while that was going on, they had torn down the dome and they were building what is now their current home, U.S. Bank Stadium. So for 2 years they had to play outdoors again. But then they've been back ever since. So, do you have any idea what their Vikings home record was those years they played the dome? It was like 28 seasons, but what would you guess their regular season record was? I had to look it up, but what would you guess?
So let's see, 28 seasons, almost 30, so they would have played about 220 games total. I bet they're like 130 and 90, I'll guess.
Okay, well, actually, the record was 162 wins.
Okay.
88 losses.
All right.
No ties.
Yep.
I mean, ties are possible, but they never tied a game there. So that's a winning percentage of 648. It's above 500, well above it.
Yep.
And then they played 10 playoff games in that time, and they went 6-4.
Okay.
And the one that none of us will ever forget was that overtime loss to Atlanta in the NFC Championship game. Okay, now let's talk about the other football team that played its home games at the Metrodome, and that's the Minnesota Gophers. They played there from 1982 to 2008, or 27 seasons. I don't know about you, John, but I actually did go to more Gopher football games at the Metrodome than I did for Vikings. My brother and I and some other people, we had season tickets for a few years in the 80s. I remember when Lou Holtz took over.
Yep.
There was some excitement about that. We did that for the 80s for a while. And then in the 90s, we did it a couple more times.
Okay.
But what about you? Did you see many Gopher games there? Or?
Only a few. I actually saw more Gopher games at Memorial Stadium.
Sure.
It was a Boy Scout usher at Memorial Stadium.
God, my brother was one of those.
The great season, which wasn't great, but it was relatively great in 1977.
Oh, when
when
they beat Michigan.
When they beat Michigan, they had the 3 linebackers that all got drafted that year.
Wow.
Yes. One of those linebackers was dating my friend's older sister. So,
who were those linebackers again?
Let's see. Mark
Merrill.
Merrill, Steve Stewart was the one that was dating the my friend's sister, and he used to come down and play pickup hockey with us even at that time.
Yeah.
I don't remember who the third was. I think they all got drafted in the second round, if I remember right.
I actually met Mark Merrill long after he'd done playing,
Yeah.
but I just met him. He knew some guys from Columbia Heights.
Oh,
And so-
okay. Yep.
Oh, wow. Interesting. And I suppose if we're going to talk about advantages and disadvantages, that was another unique situation because, they're playing downtown in a climate-controlled area, but they're off campus.
Right.
And it didn't really, there was no school, I'm not school spirit,
Right.
but someone just didn't feel
Right.
quite right. It
Yeah.
wasn't, they weren't home, even
Well,
though they were home.
And it was, closer to the West Bank.
Yeah.
I'd say it would have been better if they were closer to the East Bank.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
where,
all the fraternities were.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit divorced, even though it wasn't far from campus. It
No.
was certainly walking distance for a college student,
Yeah.
for sure. But there was
It
just that little division there that was
Yeah.
just far enough away from Dinkytown that
Yeah.
just didn't capture the imagination of the student body.
Good point. Yep. No, I agree. Same thing. Okay, I did some more research now about Gopher football at the Dome. They played there for 27 seasons. Their overall record there was 87 wins, 80 losses, and 2 ties.
Okay.
And the 2 ties were in the same season. I can't remember what year it was now, but
Really?
it happened in the same year. In 2009, they moved back to the campus,
Right.
what is now Huntington Bank. It was TCF Bank Stadium, like we mentioned earlier, and that was because Huntington Bank Shares acquired TCF Financial Corporation and changed the name. Okay, now another Minnesota team, the Minnesota Timberwolves, played home games at the
Right,
Metrodome in
first year.
their first NBA season. That was the 1989-90 season. I should quickly add that the next year they moved to what is still their current home Target Center. Now, did you see any basketball games there? Do you remember?
I think I might have seen one. Boy, it's a little hazy.
I went to 2 of them, and it was bizarre because you're playing an NBA game in a football stadium,
Right, exactly.
And so the seating, they had the home court, as I recall, was basically where the infield was.
Right, yes,
And then they had
correct.
seats at the one end. But when you were inside the place, it was just so small.
Right.
They used a scoreboard where you could kind of see the action, but if you were
Right.
sitting way up in the second deck, it was like watching ants play. It
Right.
was just so far away.
Yeah. It wasn't a great viewing
No.
experience.
They kind of did it to kill time, until
Right.
the Target
Right.
Center got built.
Oh, and they had record-breaking attendance,
Oh,
right?
They set a record. I don't think it'll ever be matched. They averaged like 40,000 a game or
Right. It
something.
was like a million fans in 40 games.
Yeah,
and-
yeah, it was just bizarre. That year, their record was 22-60, which
Right.
isn't great, but they're an expansion team. What do you expect?
Well, much to the chagrin of the ownership, because Bill Musselman wouldn't tank.
right,
And
he tried to win every game.
Yes, exactly.
And not
So
develop his rookies.
He would exactly. He would use every trick he knew to remain competitive. He wasn't interested in developing the franchise. He was interested in winning games, which was the muscle. That's what he
that's
was.
the way he was. Yep. But that record, 22-60, included 2 9-game losing streaks. So and they finished 6th out of 7 teams in the Midwest Division.
Okay.
That's what they called it. Charlotte actually had a worse record.
Okay.
And at home in the Metrodome, they actually went 17-24. They were only 7 games below 500, which is okay, I guess, if you're going just for the wins. But on the road, 5 wins, 36 losses.
Yeah.
They struggled a little bit there. So
was let's see, that was not Pooh Richardson, was it, or was it?
yeah,
Pooh
he's a
Richardson?
rookie. Yeah.
Oh,
That
okay.
was his first
All
year.
right.
Yep.
All right.
And they had a player named Tony Campbell.
Tony
played,
Campbell was
and-
their star.
Yeah, he was the one.
6'7" guard with no athleticism, but he could shoot the ball.
Yeah, yep. That'd be fun trivia just to list the roster, that team. But 22 and what did I say here? 22-60. That was their first year. There were 2 other tenants of the Metrodome, which I'm guessing some local fans may not even be aware of. Like this first one here, I'll be impressed if you remember this at all. The Minnesota Strikers of
Yeah.
the North American Soccer League.
I think I saw a Strikers game. Tino Lettieri was their goalie.
Oh, wow. Was it in the Dome?
In the Dome.
Wow, okay, you were there. I'm impressed.
Yeah,
Okay.
once.
Yeah. That was the only season they were there, though. I
Yeah.
looked it up. They actually, the next year, the Strikers and 3 other NASL teams joined what was called the Major Indoor Soccer League.
Right, and they played
and they
at
moved to Met Center.
Met Center, yes.
They played on the hockey rink. That was a bizarre game, too, if anybody's ever seen indoor
yeah.
soccer, because they could kick the ball off the boards of the glass
Right.
and ricochet. It was, I think Pat Royce called it recess ball. You know, and he didn't
That's
think
about
much
right.
of that. Yeah. Kind of a made-up game, you know, out of
for sure.
but
Yes,
you
it
think of
was.
these
It was a gym class kind of game.
You think of these European kids that grew up playing real football, soccer, and then they're inside playing in the hockey rink, you know, on turf
Again,
and
again, soccer in a pinball machine.
yes. And then the other team that played there for many seasons was the Gopher baseball team
Yes.
from
Yes.
1985 to 2010. And they played their games like in the early part of the schedule. They could play games even in February and March.
Right.
Because it was it was Minnesota. It's winter,
Right.
And it's just too cold to play outside. They did that for, like I said, from 85 to 2010, and then in 2012 they played their full schedule there because Siebert Field over on the
being
campus
remodeled.
was being remodeled, so they
Right.
played there. But that was it for the Dome for the Gophers and
Right.
and the Strikers.
Yeah,
the
they
other
must have
teams.
been the last tenant of the Dome then.
Well-
Maybe the Vikings.
Yep, I'm coming to that actually. I got
Yeah.
that list up here. Just a couple fun facts. You probably remember all this, or just what make the Dome unique. Because, you know, as much as it was criticized and all its shortcomings, it's pretty unique in that it's the only venue that hosted a Major League Baseball All-Star game
Right.
in 1985. My dad went to that, I remember. He got to go. The Super Bowl.
Right.
2 NCAA men's basketball Final Fours.
Right.
92 and 2001. And then 2 World Series.
I was there.
87 when they beat St. Louis, and then again in 91 they beat Atlanta. And both games were decided at the Dome.
Yes,
They won Game
right.
7. So.
I
And you said you went to World Series?
I was at Game 6 and 7 of the 87 World Series.
Because my
Yeah.
folks were at Game 7.
Yeah. That was actually kind of a boring game. In a good kind of way, since they won.
It was
but
tense. I remember watching
Yeah.
with friends, but I kept thinking, are they going to blow this?
Yeah.
Because it was the last game, but
Yeah.
but it was loud, wasn't it? I mean, I just remember they made such a big deal about it on the
Right.
ABC that was televising the games.
Right.
That showed
Game
the
6 was definitely loud. That was the one with the Herbeck Grand Slam.
Yes, and didn't Baylor hit a home run too? Don Baylor.
Don Baylor hit one, and that was a very fun game.
Yep.
And that was a come from behind. I think they were
Yeah,
losing
they
5-2 in the early innings before Herbeck hit that home run.
I was afraid it was going to end that day. It was a Saturday afternoon watching, I remember.
Yep.
And I thought, this is it. So it was good they came back. And then another thing that I think is always cool about the Dome was there was this 6-month period from October of 91 to April of 92.
Oh,
because
yeah.
you had the
That's-
Twins winning the World Series. The Super Bowl with the Washington
Right.
and Buffalo.
right.
And then the
Final
Duke
Four.
Blue Devils,
Right.
beat Michigan.
Right. Wasn't that the, I think Leitner hit the miraculous shot in the semifinals.
Yeah, against Kentucky or
or
somebody.
no, I guess that would have been the regional final.
It was against Kentucky
to
I
get
think.
to the Final
Yep.
Four, I think.
I think. Yep. Yeah. Leitner.
Yep.
Everybody remembers that shot. It was pretty cool. So. Another thing too about the Metrodome is we've talked about sports, but it was actually a venue for a lot of things. I was surprised how many rock concerts were held there over the
I
years.
was at a couple of those.
Between 1984 and 2003. After 2003, they just didn't have concerts there anymore. They probably figured,
Right.
this is so crappy for
Right. It
concerts. We ain't
was
going to
not
do it.
good.
But you think of who was there. They had the Rolling Stones there 3 different times.
Oh, really?
Pink Floyd was there 2 different times. Wow. And Paul McCartney. I mean, so if you're looking for rock icons. They got them there to play in the Target Center. I mean, but there were other concerts too. I remember reading about the Grateful Dead playing there.
I was at that one.
Oh, you were at that one. Okay.
Bob Dylan, the Grateful Dead.
Was Tom Petty there too? Or?
Bob Dylan and Tom Petty.
Okay.
That was the order that they played in.
Okay.
As a matter of fact.
Okay.
And Tom Petty is the only. Tom Petty Band was the only music that I recognized that day.
Yeah.
Like the acoustics were so terrible,
Yeah.
you didn't even know what song was playing.
It was not good for rock concerts. So yeah, as well. Just a few other notable events that took place there that some people might not remember, even if you're from here. In 1991, the World Special Olympics Summer Games had their opening ceremonies there.
Okay.
I think what I remember about that is I didn't go to it, but I remember Arnold Schwarzenegger was there for some reason. He was, maybe he was an ambassador or something for
Probably.
that, but he was there. The prep bowls were always held there.
Right.
The state
I've
high
seen
school
quite a
football
few of those.
championships. Yep.
Yep.
That was a good venue for the
I
kids.
agree.
It was a good kid for like outstate kids. What a thrill to get to go
Right.
to the Metrodome.
Absolutely.
So that was fun for them. And then I went to an event that not a lot of people went to, I don't think. But do you remember the American Wrestling Association, the AWA?
Oh, yeah.
Vern Gagne's
Yeah.
wrestling deal.
Right.
He hoped it would be like an equivalent to WrestleMania from
Right.
the WWE. It was called Wrestle Rock 86.
Wow, Wrestle Rock.
April 20th, 1986. I went there.
Okay.
But there were only 23,000 people. When you think about the Metrodome,
yeah.
23,000
Not even
is
half
not a lot
full.
of people. No, it was bad. But all of Vern's stars were there. I remember
Okay.
Kurt Hennig was there. Scott Hall was there.
Yeah.
The Sheik.
Yeah, right.
Just about anybody that was a famous wrestler that had wrestled for Vern was there that day. And
Right.
it went on for hours. It just, there were like...
So that must have been after some of the defections, though.
Yeah,
like
it was
the
because
Road Warriors
that's
and
why
Hulk
he
Hogan and-
tried to do something to counter WrestleMania.
Right.
I'll show you. I'll do mine. But it was great though because during the show, now we're really getting into the deep weeds in wrestling. But Vern Gagne wrestled the Sheik.
Oh, no kidding.
I think he put the sleeper hold on him. It was
Yeah,
great. The fans loved that.
Of course.
And the dome was also used for a lot of conventions. I think the
Right.
Twins Fest was held there
Oh, yeah.
often, but there were golf shows there, home and garden expos, car shows, and let's not forget Monster Jam.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I went to a monster truck show there, and that was the opening act for Lamont Cranston, who played after the truck pull deal.
That had to be loud too.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, that would be deafening, literally.
Yes, Lamont Cranston was a welcome relief to the eardrums. Lamont Cranston also opened one of the Rolling Stones shows there. So it was Lamont Cranston, Steel Wheels Tour, and then Living Color. I think that was what it was called. It was the loudest music I've ever heard.
Living Color.
Yeah, they had that song Cult of Personality.
Okay.
Big hit at the time, and they were so loud. So that was, and that was at the time the song was a hit. They were.
I'm gonna have to listen to that on YouTube.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Either Living Color or In Living Color, something like that. There was a TV show also.
I remember
called
that because Jim Carrey was on that with
right,
the Wayans
right.
brothers.
So I think Living Color was the band.
Oh, darn.
And they were
interesting. Okay.
black guys that played very loud rock music.
Wow.
Pretty good.
I'm going to have to check that out. Okay. All right. I got a quiz for you, John. Quiz question. What was the very last event to be held at the Metrodome? Or I'll give you a date. December 29th, 2013. The Sunday.
December of 13. Well, it must be a Vikings game then.
Okay. And if you know this, that'd be amazing. But I can tell you if you can't. It was a game against the Detroit Lions.
Okay.
That was the last football game played at the Metrodome. The Vikings won 14-13.
Oh, wow.
And I'm trying to think in 2013 who would have been the quarterback. I'll have to look that up. But they won it. I don't know what the record was in 2013. It was before they moved over to the U, but I can't remember how they even did that year. But I'll have to look that up. The 2013 season.
That would have been Childress, so maybe it was T-Jack.
Could be.
I bet that's who
You know,
it
it
was.
was after Favre, because Favre
Right.
played in 2009 or 2010 or
Yeah,
something
no,
like that.
T-Jack was before Favre, so
Yeah,
who
I'll have to look
succeeded
that up.
Favre?
Oh, trivia.
I don't know.
So
Somebody
we'll have to do
forget
a
about.
podcast on that. So,
Oh, it would have been Christian Ponder.
oh, okay. No wonder I can't remember.
That's who it would have been.
Poor Christian.
First round draft pick, Christian Ponder.
Oh, yes.
And,
Yes. Didn't work out too well for anybody,
No.
did it? Okay. Now, the day after that last Vikings game, so it's December 2013, a local company began removal of those blue seats for sale to the public and to various charities and nonprofits. And here's some fun facts. The individual chairs went for $40 each to charities,
Okay. All right.
$60 each to the public. Like
Okay.
say you or I
Yep.
wanted to buy
Yep.
one, $60. You have it say, or $80 each for specific seat requests. Like maybe you wanted to get some together or
Right.
something. I don't know. Do you know anybody who bought a Metrodome seat?
No, I know some people that took home seats from Met Stadium, but
Sure.
there was no
And they
company
didn't pay for
removing
it. And
those.
they didn't pay for it either.
The crowd at the last game removed those
Yep.
seats.
Yep. They didn't have to
And
hire
everything
anybody
else.
for that. Oh, gosh. Okay, so on April 11th, 2014, that's 3.5 months after that last Viking football game.
Sure.
And you said you weren't working at Voy yet then? You
No,
weren't there?
no, I didn't start until
Because
16.
I was there, but the final portion of the inner stadium concrete walls were reduced to rubble. Like I said, it almost looked like they were bombed. That was the official end of the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome. Demolition of the Metrodome was formally declared complete 6 days later, so April 17th,
Sure.
a month ahead of schedule, as the final truckload of rubble was loaded up and removed from the site. Officials from Mortensen Construction said the entire demolition job required 4,910 truckloads
Yep. Yep.
and 16,000 labor hours to complete the job.
And so the Metrodome, the surface of the Metrodome was below
Oh, yeah.
ground level,
Yeah,
like
definitely.
probably 30 or 40 feet
Oh, at
down,
least.
something
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, so there must have been quite a
Yep.
crater in the ground at the
Yep.
time.
Yep. Yeah, and like I said, that view that I had, when they were taking the dome apart was something to see from the office where I was working at the time. Kind of sad actually, because like I said, for as much as the dome got criticized, and lousy for baseball and lousy for sports, I got a lot of good memories of the place.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun going to games, and you see friends, and
No doubt. And it did offer great utility.
Oh,
it
yeah.
might have not have been aesthetic, but it was, very great utility.
They even used that outdoor lobby area. What do you call that? The concourse. That was like a roller dome. You could go there and skate.
Right.
If you wanted just to get exercise, and then it's a
Right.
good use of the
Right.
facility, I guess. I mean, it's something to do. So now, just for the benefit of people that maybe have seen photos and shots of the dome, but never went there for any event, they don't live in Minnesota, or they just never went. Why don't you describe how it felt for you, like the first time you'd go into a big place like that, like when you stepped inside to see a baseball game? What were the things that you really noticed? What hit you?
The biggest memory was getting sucked out of the place when I left.
Right.
As it would, I don't know what you call that, air pressure, but
Yeah.
but it would literally blow you right out the door.
Well, remember they'd try to patrol it. They'd make you use those revolving doors.
Right,
But then
right.
it's like, well, these people are going to be
That
here
was
till
a
midnight.
huge bottleneck, and
Yes.
that
So they'd
didn't
open
work.
those doors.
Right, and then the air pressure was tremendous.
And it's not an exaggeration. It almost felt like hurricane winds. I mean,
Right.
you could feel it hitting your back.
Right.
And if you were wearing like a hat, I mean, they could blow that off. There were reports that sometimes people would fall down.
Oh,
if they were older or something, maybe they just weren't that good on their feet. Or they just caught them off guard.
Right.
You just
Right, that was the thing. The first couple of times, you were just not prepared for that wind tunnel effect.
Oh, it was, it was amazing.
But all right, so walking in the first time, it was huge relative to the Met Stadium.
Right.
It was probably at least double the size. And an upper deck that went all the way around, so a second tier, and the lower tier was huge too. I mean, it was like 40 rows of seats or something.
Yep.
So that started at ground level, and 40 rows down to the field, and then another 40 rows probably up to the roof, something like that for the second deck.
And if you wanted to get up and go somewhere, you had a lot of climbing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were sitting down by the dugouts and you said, I'm going to go out and get something to eat.
Right. And at the Metrodome, you didn't have to worry about finding a urinal because there was none. It was a trough.
Oh, right. Yes.
Which was not the most comfortable,
Yeah. It's a guy thing, but it's a thing.
Right. There is no doubt.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up the part about leaving because of the air pressure when you leave. It was bizarre. You would have to be there to know what we're talking about.
Right.
Okay.
It's funny too, so one thing I didn't mention is the last 3 years of the Metrodome, I had season tickets for the Twins.
Oh, you did? Okay.
And I had my favorite seats ever anywhere. I had the front row of the second deck, third base, just inside of third base.
Okay.
So I was right next to the tunnel.
Okay.
So one step and I was in the 3 steps and I was in the corridor.
That's nice. Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah. So that was very carefully curated season tickets.
Yeah.
Which I really liked. And then we moved over to equivalent seats at Target Field for 3 years. Same seat, essentially. We're a little behind third base initially the first year, but it was so much farther from the field. The Metrodome, surprisingly, the second deck stuck out and was closer to the field, much closer to the field. So that was fall ball territory for sure.
Right.
At the Dome, at Target Field, a very occasional fall ball intersection, but almost never. It was too far away.
Too far away. Yep. Well, it was built for football because the seats as they went down,
Right.
You were getting further and further away. Like my mom and dad, when they went to that 7th game of the World Series, my dad said we were sitting on the third base line between third base and left field, but you literally had to turn, to see the action.
Right.
You couldn't just face it. You'd have to turn in your seat to look
Right.
that way.
Oh,
So-
yes, that's right. The seats did not face home plate.
Right.
For,
They were going
for
straight
much-
across, parallel to like you see
Right.
in the football field. So,
Right.
yeah, it had some interesting quirks, no doubt about it. So, do you have one kind of laugh out loud memory of the place? Something that happened, nothing to do with the game itself, but something that went on that. Because I'll share mine after if you got one, but or if you want to think about it, I'll share one with you.
Go ahead.
Okay, it was the very first regular season game. They were playing Oakland, and it was April 6, 1982. I remember because it was my birthday, but it was sold out. We had seats in the second deck, left field, about 10 rows down from that black and white scoreboard. I mean, we were very
a long
far
ways
away.
away.
But the place was packed. There was not an empty seat in the place. And some people had probably been celebrating before the game, too. Just, people being people. And for the very first home game, do you know who they got to sing the national anthem?
Tell me.
Okay. It was Pearl Bailey.
Naturally.
Yeah, I mean, that was the first thing I would have thought of. Who would play it for your first game? So, okay, I guess she was a great singer in her time and actress and all that stuff. But the thing I remember most about Pearl Bailey was Garrett Morris from Saturday Night Live used to dress up like Pearl Bailey.
Right.
So I think people were just kind of laughing, thinking about that when she's singing. So she's singing a cappella, the national anthem, going just fine, We're all standing there respectfully. And somebody in our area, probably, 20 yards away from us, during the song suddenly yells out, "Is that Aretha?" Aretha Franklin? Right. Obviously it wasn't.
Right.
But everybody
But it might as well have been, right?
But everybody just started to laugh, and it felt really disrespectful during the anthem. But, that line from that guy, "Is that Aretha?" We just lost it. So that's a memory that I'll always remember of my first time there. So
Yeah, yeah. No, nothing comes to mind like that. Not a moment that would
No.
rival all that.
No streaker running across the
but-
baseball field.
That probably was at some point. But my favorite story, I was at the game where they played Oakland when they were the Bash brothers, Canseco and McGuire.
Oh, yeah.
And McGuire hit one almost, I think it was the last row of the lower deck in left field. So that's like 40, 50 rows, but it was way back.
It's a hit. Yeah.
And it was off Frankie Rodriguez. And Puckett was still around the team, but he had the eye problem, so he wasn't playing. But he was still around. And the story was the next day, the team is, I don't know, taking batting practice or something, and Puckett's way the hell out in the stands somewhere, and all of a sudden he yells down to the field, "I found it, Frankie! I found it!" And he holds up a baseball.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's Kirby Puckett, though. I mean, he was that guy. He was that guy.
Great story. That's fun. That's fun. Okay. Let me ask you this, John. Sometime down the road, you're going to be somewhere talking to people, and some young sports fan is going to come up to you and say, did you ever see games at the Metrodome when it was there? What was it like? How would you describe that? I'm trying to figure out what the Metrodome, what the experience was for somebody.
Oof, yeah. I guess, when it was full, it was loud. It was a very loud place, and it was fun, kind of because of that, dynamic. So like the World Series, holy cow,
Yeah.
that was ear-splittingly loud and fun.
Yeah.
That was as fun a moment, in my sports life ever. It was empty. It was pretty pathetic.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't imagine watching a Gopher baseball game in there, especially if they're getting drummed by somebody,
Right.
that's good. And,
Yep.
here's USC in here to beat the Gophers 3 straight by 10 runs or whatever.
I think the thing I would tell, like if my granddaughter ever asked me what it was like in a dome stadium, I would just say it was climate controlled.
Right.
You never have to worry about getting rained on or getting too cold or too hot or anything like that. Wait, I got a quick aside. Remember the first year or two, they did not have air conditioning?
Oh, yes.
They said, we won't need it. It's below ground.
Underground.
It was like a sweat box.
It was. That first year was really, really
They
bad.
show like video clips on the news, the sporting news, that people with programs, fanning themselves because
Right.
it was hot and they were sweating. It was like a sweat box in there. But I think what I'd say is it was a very unique and historic place. Oh, in that a lot of historic things happened there. Like I
Yes.
said,
Right.
World Series, Super Bowls,
Right.
NBA basketball for a year, Final Four.
Final Fours.
So many things happened there.
Right.
As much as people criticize it. And the other thing people have to remember is obviously you have to adjust for inflation, but I believe they built that thing for $55 million.
Came in under budget.
Yeah, under
I
budget.
think that was the budget, and I think they built it for 39.
Yeah.
I
mean, so they definitely got their money's worth out of
Right.
it.
Right.
And like I said, the events that were held there, it's just amazing.
Right.
Not too many places can say that they did all those different
Yes.
sporting events. So,
Right.
Give it its props. It served its purpose for a long, long time. Although
Right.
I do like U.S. Bank Stadium.
Yeah.
Even though I've never set foot in there, it's a really nice football stadium. And Target Field is a great baseball
It is.
park. And the Gophers at Huntington Bank, that's a great college football stadium.
Yep,
So
yep.
we got good stadiums after
Right.
all that. But I just want to don't want to forget about the Dome.
Right. I'd say the closest we have now as far as like aesthetic quality is probably Target Center. It's kind of feels like it was built on a budget, and
Right.
doesn't have all the amenities, and
Right.
and the Dome kind of felt that way in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it served its purpose very well, and like you said, under budget.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very good investment for the state of Minnesota I wholeheartedly agree with that, and it made us appreciate the newer modern places that we have now.
Because I think I would argue that all three of those venues, the Target Field and U.S. Bank Stadium and Huntington, are top top drawer.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
very nice.
Yeah,
I know
totally
he'd
agree.
keep complaining. So, well, this has been fun.
Yes.
It was almost kind of therapeutic to talk about because sometimes I feel bad about. I think about all the memories of the Dome,
Right.
and people don't talk about it that much anymore. So it's fun just to bring that up. So I hope the listeners that remember the Dome can appreciate maybe the times they had there as well. So, but John, thanks so much. It's good to get together with you again. We'll have to do another podcast. I know you and I both love music. Maybe we can do a
Yeah.
deep dive on.
Right. I'm
music that we
living
focus.
color after you learn.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm going to YouTube after that and listen to that as well. So, thanks again, John.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, all right. you
And
bet.
to our listeners, thanks again for hanging out with me, Bob Edholm, and John Lawrence, my friend from Northeast Minneapolis. We hope you'll join us for the next episode of Hanging Out with Bob, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And until then, bye.